Well, it is 2 minutes after the hour, so I'm going to have us go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're thrilled to have you here today for a dedicated information session for our upcoming Brown Global Summer Program in China, entitled Chinese Language, Arts, and Culture. Very excited to be joined here today by Dr. Liwei Jiao, who will be delivering this wonderful program that he's designed for you all here today. The goal of this session is to kind of go top to bottom, give you the full details of what you can expect on this experience. And then hopefully by the end of it, we'll have convinced you that this is the way you want to spend your summer, and we'll walk you through the steps of submitting an application. Um, so again, this is one of Brown's Brown Global Summer programs. We have four that we're offering for summer 2025. These are wonderful opportunities to earn a credit of Brown, to earn one Brown credit over the summer during the Brown's summer session. These are short-term faculty-led programs. And they are just truly extraordinary. And we're really, as I said, grateful to be joined here today by Dr. Liwei Jiao, who's going to talk you through the details of this very, very exciting program. Dr. Jiao, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Chris. Happy Lunar New Year of the Snake. My name is Li Weijiao. I have been teaching Chinese in the US since 2006, first at the University of Pennsylvania and then at Brown. So my research focuses on the relationship between Chinese language and culture. Yeah, that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Liu Wei. By way of introduction, too, my name is Chris Van Boven. I'm Assistant Director of Global Programs. In my role, I'm here to help guide you all through the admissions process. I'm kind of your point of contact for any and all questions that you might have in terms of administration, costs, et cetera, et cetera. So you can kind of consider me your dedicated advisor through this throughout this process. A bit of what you can expect from the presentation today. We're going to talk through the key features and dates, the locations where this program is going to be delivered, academics. We'll talk through housing and the meals that form part of the program. We'll walk through the program costs. And again, at that point, we will lead right into a discussion of the next steps so you can take action and get yourself on this exciting program. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Dr. Jiao, who's going to be telling you all about this wonderful, wonderful program.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest in this course. First, I want to clarify that this is not a language course. I will not teach you any Chinese grammar, and your Chinese language proficiency is not required. Second, this course explores Chinese culture through the lens of language and the arts. While much of the insight from the perspective of language will come from me, your curious thinking is equally important. For instance, this year, I helped a Brown alumna secure the Schwarzman Scholarship, the world's most prestigious scholarship in terms of prize money, because she asked a thought-provoking question relevant to this course. The question is, in Imperial China, how would rich people report to their ancestors about their taking of concubines? Well, I won't answer this question now. It highlights the importance of ancestors' sacrifice and worship in ancient Chinese culture. As a saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Similarly, I'd say an artifact is worth 10,000 words. For example, the dragon is the totem of Chinese culture. While examining early Chinese jade artifacts, you will discern whether they resemble pigs or dragons. We will explore three of China's four great ancient capitals, Luoyang, Xi'an, and Beijing, as well as Anyang, the capital of the Shang Dynasty, over 3,600 years ago. We will not go to Nanjing. We'll travel in reverse chronological order, beginning in Beijing, moving to Xi'an, Luoyang, and Anyang, and then returning to Beijing. This allows us to trace Chinese history back to its roots. What places will we visit? Our itinerary focuses on culturally significant sites, some of which are rarely mentioned in travel guidebooks. For example, no guidebook recommends the Temple of the Sun in Beijing, but our journey begins there. Why? I will explain how the imagery of the sun was undervalued throughout Chinese imperial history until Chairman Mao. This might seem surprising, but I will clarify on site. Highlights include Beijing's Great Wall, Forbidden City, Temple of Heaven, Central Access, National Museum of China, and Confucius Temple. In Xi'an, we'll visit Terracotta Warriors Museum, Xi'an City Wall, Steely Forest, Giant Goose Pagoda, a Great Mosque, and Chinese President Xi Jinping's father's mausoleum. In Luoyang, we'll see the White Horse Temple or Shaolin Temple, the Longmen Grottoes, Suitang, Grand Canal Museum, and the Paradise, which was a 1,300-year-old, 1,000-foot tall wooden structure, the tallest in the ancient world. In Anyang, we'll visit the Yin Ruins National Museum of Chinese Writing and the birthplace of Yi Jing, or the Book of Changes. Beyond these sites, we'll explore Beijing's hutongs, Xi'an's Muslim Quarter, and other local communities to experience daily life. We'll also savor local delicacies, including Peking roast duck, 肉夹馍 or Chinese hamburgers, and Mudan Yan Cai, which I personally find even more delicious than Peking roast duck. While enjoying this dish, I will explain the logic of the Chinese language. Regarding dates, meticulous planning ensures we avoid peak crowds. Key dates include July 11th, the first day of Chinese college students' summer vacation. We must finish visiting Beijing and Xi'an by that date to avoid hours-long queues. After that date, what you can see in Beijing and Xi'an are only people and people. The in-country travel spans June 27th to July 22nd, just 25 days to explore 3,600 years of Chinese recorded history. Next, Chris. The course title is East 311, China, Chinese Language, Arts, and Culture. You will get 1 brown credit after successfully finishing this course. There's no prerequisites, so this course is open to both undergraduates and graduates, including students from other colleges. The language of instruction will be English. A Canvas site will host all course materials. Pre-travel orientation will include 2 asynchronous online days. During the in-country program, we'll travel together with several free days for independent exploration. If I'm unavailable, please remember, do not sign any legal documents without consulting me or a designated brown contact. I've directed an overseas program for 2 semesters and understand potential challenges students might face in China. After returning to the US, there will be one synchronous session for final project presentations. Chris, next. Pre-travel coursework will cover basic knowledge of Chinese history, geography, imperial reign years, and measurements. Assigned readings will provide foundational understanding. Next, please. The in-country program features several highlights. I've already mentioned the first. The second highlight involves exploring Chinese culture from multiple perspectives. Themes include palaces to mausoleums, late imperial history to prehistoric myth, royal court life to peasant culture, tangible heritage to intangible traditions, and arts to language. My expertise lies in the relationship between the Chinese language and culture, supported by an exhaustive survey of Chinese idioms and proverbs. My background is sort of unique. I grew up in a northern Chinese village, attended middle and high schools in a small town, went to college in a provincial capital, went to graduate school in a metropolis, and worked in Beijing for 6 years before coming to the US. This experience provides me a unique perspective on Chinese culture from both ordinary and scholarly viewpoints. The third highlight is our guest speakers, who will, who will offer authoritative insights or cutting-edge research on topics such as the evolution of dragon imagery on bronze ware. Next, we will learn about Chinese culture not only at cultural sites, but also during transit. For example, when traveling by train from Beijing to Xi'an, I'll teach you certain parts of Chinese history. I recently discovered a new train route through Shanxi province. It offers an excellent opportunity to integrate teaching content seamlessly. Next, for instance, we'll pass a lake considered by many to be the birthplace of Chinese civilization. Isn't that fascinating? However, to ensure group seating on trains, we need at least 20 participants. If fewer than 20 train seats will be randomly assigned across different cars. So please spread the word to make our class larger. Next. Here are photos from my visits last summer while preparing for this course. Can you guess the meaning of the oracle bone inscription on the cappuccino? I will reveal the answer at the National Museum of Chinese Writing in Anyang. Next. The final project presentation will occur 2 days after our return to the US. During the program, I will meet with you one-on-one twice to discuss about your project. You will develop your project throughout the course. After presenting, you will have about 1 week to submit a written paper based on your final project. Next. So course content and assessment. First, attendance during in-country program is mandatory. Active participation and a curious mind are essential. Second, You will lead one or two small discussions on topics such as the cultural significance of Apollo in your own culture. Third, after visiting Beijing and Xi'an, you need to write a short reflection of the city respectively. They can serve to build up your final project. Fourth, I will meet with you twice during the in-country program to discuss your final project. Fifth, final presentation will be on July 24th. The term paper is a standard 15-page paper. That's the end of my introduction. Chris, your turn.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That was a beautiful presentation. Excited to continue on to discuss a bit more of the logistical details for the program. Housing is first up here. So the thing that I'll say here is that Dr. Zhao has personally just recently gone and done a full tour to kind of experience this program himself to each of the cities where we'll be delivering the program, and he has found beautiful hand-selected hotels and excellent central locations. So you'll all be staying in double occupancy hotel rooms with a shared ensuite bathroom, so bathroom in the room throughout the duration of the stay. Um, and in terms of meals, we tried hard to make sure that we could include a significant proportion of the meals as part of the program costs. And so covered by the program will be all of the breakfasts on the program, most of the lunches during your stay. And then as far as what you need to be prepared to budget for out of pocket, you'll be on your own primarily for dinners, which we've budgeted to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 to $15 per meal. Um, we want to talk through, excuse me, the finances for this program. So there are essentially two categories of fees that you need to anticipate here. So these are first fees that you would pay directly to Brown University. And then there are expenses that you would be paying out of pocket. And so these two categories of expenses combined equal the total cost of participating on this program. So just to break that down for us here a bit further, you have here the fees paid to Brown, and these include the summer session tuition fee, which I'll talk about in more detail on an upcoming slide, and the global housing meal and activity fee. And so just to outline right away, for those of you all who are Brown students, so if you're a degree-seeking student at Brown and you receive financial aid during the academic year, then you may be eligible for financial aid support to help cover the cost of some proportion of these particular fees paid to Brown. I'll talk about that again, as I said, in more depth on an upcoming slide. And then there are expenses that you would be responsible for paying out of pocket. So, and these are expenses for which there is no institutional aid available. There may be, as I point out here, opportunities externally. We'll talk about a couple of them. External scholarships. You can also consider taking out loans. For those of you coming from other colleges and universities, it might be worth checking with your departments, as sometimes there are departmental funding opportunities for undergraduate students to support travel overseas. So, and this is again an area that could be useful to pursue. So again, for expenses paid out of pocket, the most significant of these will be the airfare. So you'll be responsible for paying for a round trip flight to the program destination from wherever you happen to be. We've designed this program again with that initial asynchronous online component so that, again, folks can meet us and travel from wherever they happen to be. So if you're in California, your trip would be obviously from California to the program destination and back. Just wanted to, again, make that clear. Again, some of the meals in country dinners you'll be responsible for. Should you need to renew a passport, any visa fees, you'd be responsible for paying for. We will personally be working with each of you to guide you through the visa application process. So that's something, again, you won't be expected to navigate on your own. I will personally be helping you walk through that process. Books and course materials, which I've asterished here and I'll explain in a minute. International cell phone service. So this is an important one. It is as a security measure, we require all students on Brown Global summer programs to have the ability to make and receive phone calls in country. We'll be able to guide you through that process during the pre-departure phase to help you navigate how to make that work with your carriers. And then certainly spending money in terms of having some money on hand for souvenirs, that sort of thing. For those of you at Brown, there is the BCMS program. So if you receive university scholarship, then there is a program in place that will allow you to get your book and course materials covered as part of that program. So something to look into as we get closer to time. A bit more on the fees paid to Brown, just to break things down crystal clear for you all. So we've got first, as I said, the summer session tuition fee. And this pays for 1 credit of Brown tuition. And it's the same for all programs. And it's the amount that you have listed here. And then in addition to that summer session tuition fee, you have the global housing meal and activity fee, which, just as it sounds, is designed to cover your in-country international housing, the activities that form part of the program, and then whatever meals are provided by the program. This fee varies by program, and for our program in China, it's $3,900. Again, for those of you who are Brown undergraduate students who receive financial aid during the academic year, you may be eligible to receive a summer grant that can provide for full or partial remission of these fees paid to Brown. And again, those eligible expenses include a summer session tuition fee, and it can potentially include some proportion of the global housing meal and activity fee. We have worked really closely with the Office of Financial Aid to coordinate with them so that they will be able to contact you all directly around late February, early March at the latest, to be able to share the details of your particular aid eligibility. The idea being here that, should you be admitted to the program, there will be a date by which you're expected to commit in mid-March. But the goal here is for you all to make sure that you have all of the information that you need at your fingertips in terms of financial aid eligibility, so that you can make an informed decision about affordability before actually committing to the program. So again, I urge you to contact the Office of Financial Aid if you have any questions about that. In terms of the out-of-pocket expenses, again, just to break those down here a little bit more in detail. We've estimated here for airfare, again, just as an illustration, this is just showing, should you happen to be in the New England area, if you're coming from the Providence area, a round trip flight as of right now costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,200 on average. Obviously, that amount will vary based on where you're coming from, your origin airport. Some meals, again, at $15 per meal, the roughly 3-week in-country program, you're looking at roughly around $400. We put here as sort of a placeholder, books around $100 an estimate, give or take. International cell phone service, this will vary depending on which carrier you have, but that can be anywhere from $35 to $100 based on the sort of the standard major carriers that we've seen. And then we recommend having somewhere around $200 for spending money, kind of emergency money to have on hand. A bit on external scholarships. There are a number of opportunities out there that are excellent for supporting study abroad during the summer. We urge you to consider applying to any and all of these for which you might be eligible. We have links here. These are also on our program website as well. And what I'll say here is, in many cases, you end up needing to apply for these programs sort of prospectively in advance of receiving your admissions decision, and that's okay. Just enter the details of the program, the costs, and so forth. Put your name in whatever hats you possibly can. And you can see that the deadlines for some of these are coming up soon. So we urge you to take advantage of those. And these can be used to support either the fees paid to Brown or the out-of-pocket expenses. We will be posting detailed out-of-pocket expense student budget sheets to the individual program websites in the coming days. And the idea here is that we hope that you'll be able to use these to start planning and saving now. The Office of Financial Aid has suggested that students make sure that they have all of their required documentation submitted for the 2025-2026 academic year in order for the summer grants to post to your accounts. And then a final note here on finances is that the Office of Financial Aid suggested that students consider loans as one possibility for supporting these programs. With an important note here, technically, students are not able to take out loans during the summer for the global summer programs because you don't meet the eligibility criterion of being at least half-time enrollment during the summer. However, there is a great workaround, which is that you can consider borrowing loans during the spring 2025 semester, so before the spring 2025 semester wraps up, in order to assist you with those summer 2025 costs. And so typically, the final deadline for applying for a spring loan is 2 weeks prior to the end of the spring semester, but you might consider moving that up even earlier to be able to support any upfront costs, say flights. So as early as late February, early March. If you have questions about loans, the Office of Financial Aid would be happy to speak with you and offer you guidance there. Okay, so again, hoping that we have convinced you that this is the thing that you want to do with your summer, and you totally should. As you've seen, it's an incredible opportunity. Eligibility. So we've designed all of our Brown Global Summer programs to sort of reach the broadest swath of the undergraduate population as possible. So there are no prerequisites for this program. Class year, undergraduate students from all class years are welcome to apply. The only catch here is that for seniors, it is only available to those who will not have yet graduated by summer 2025. So unfortunately, if you're a senior and you are due to graduate in May 2025, you will not be eligible to participate in the program, as when the program begins, you will no longer be a degree-seeking undergraduate student. But if you're graduating, say, in the fall 2025, so, say December 2025, then you would be eligible to participate. Concentration areas. So undergraduate students from all concentrations are welcome to apply, and that includes those who are undeclared. And that's an important distinction from semester and academic year programs that do require you to have declared a concentration. For the Brown Global Summer programs, you don't need to have declared yet, which makes these actually an excellent opportunity for first-year students in particular who maybe have never had an overseas study abroad experience. This is a great way to get your feet wet with study abroad on a really nice structured program before considering semester and academic year opportunities further down the line. We've designed the application process to be as painless as possible. It's fully online. It's a simple background information form. And the bulk of the heavy lifting takes the form of 3 short response questions just to help us get to know you a little bit better. Applications are reviewed on a rolling basis, so we encourage you to apply right away. In terms of deadlines, the preferred deadline is this Saturday, February 1st. And so applications that we receive by this date will receive priority for admission, though we will be receiving applications all the way through March 1st as our final application deadline. You can find links directly on the individual program webpage for this program. You can also browse the application portal, so the Study Abroad application portal for Brown, and you can search by term or by program name to find it there. And should you have any questions throughout this process, I urge you to reach out to me directly. I also keep advising hours, so you just reach out to me. I'd be happy to share my appointment scheduler. Be more than happy to chat with you in real time if you have any questions or concerns, things that we can, help you to sort through. And with that brings us to the end of the formal part of the presentation. So what I'll do is I will stop the recording right now, which, by the way, will be posted on the program website so you can view after the fact. But I'll just go ahead and stop the recording now, and we'll open things up to an open-ended Q&A. You can ask any and all questions that you might have. Just bear with me.